Most poker players have a pipe dream of walking to a poker table with a couple of euros and walking out with millions, and while for many it remains a fantasy, this 21-year-old Polish chap ended up doing just that. He walked in as a relatively unknown novice and ended up leaving as a legend in the world of poker. He satellited into the EPT Barcelona event for just 27 euros and ended up leaving with over €1 million, beating 1,785 other entrants in the process. Who is this mysterious 21-year-old Polish boy that gave these pros a run for their money? And how did he win, although he was a novice? Let's find out together. Of course, the person we are talking about is none other than the 21-year-old chess prodigy, Sebastian Malec. Malec was absolutely unknown when he stepped into the EPT Barcelona event in 2016, and many thought he would be just another face that gets eliminated well before the final table is reached. But he proved everyone wrong. At the final table, where every player had fans backing them, Sebastian sat alone and still won single-handedly. Malec would establish dominance at the finals table from the get-go by taking on Yuri Reichenstein, the highest chip holder at the table. Malec would raise the bet to 400,000 in the first move, and Yuri would do a 3-bet and raise the amount to a staggering 1.1 million euros. Malec would then check on the flop, and then call Yuri's 850,000 euro bet that he makes, and once again check on the turn, and then call Yuri's raise to 2.3 million euros. But then before the turn ends, Malec raises the bet by going all in with 6.9 million euros. Malec at this point was holding a top with an ace-king in the hole and a king in the community cards, while Yuri only had a pair of aces. Yuri would decide it's not worth the risk and fold, making Malec win the pot and take on the role of chip leader. After Harcharan Dogra and Andreas Chalkiadakis are taken out by Thomas de Rooij and Malec, Zorlu Air and Reichenstein would face off, and although the initial draw was in Air's favor, with him holding an ace-jack and Reichenstein holding a 10-4 diamond, the flop would draw all diamonds, rocketing Reichenstein's poor set to a straight flush. The turn and river would do Zorlu no good either, with him getting desperate and going all in at the last moment, only to lose it all, boosting Reichenstein once again to the position of chip leader. This interaction was a foreshadowing of the final showdown that was going to take place between the Polish college student and the seasoned German veteran down the line. The next round of betting would see the Netherlands giant Thomas de Rooij face off against Malec in a move of wits. De Rooij would first raise the 250,000 blinds to 500,000 euros. De Rooij would hold an ace-6, but his chances only went up once the flop came, revealing 2 5s and a 6, allowing de Rooij to pair up. But Malec's luck would turn down with the flop, with his jack-8 finding no luck. Still, Malec would raise the bet and bid 475,000. But the craziness doesn't stop here. De Rooij would raise to 1.2 million euros, to which Malec would lay down a 3-bet, raising the bid to 2.2 million euros. But does de Rooij back down? Of course not. He raises the call to 1 million, making the pot 5,625,000 euros. But then the turn would come, revealing a jack, which shifted the odds completely in Malec's favor. Crazily enough, after Malec checks, de Rooij would try bluffing and raise another 1.5 million, to which Malec once again calls and matches the 1.5 million bet, bringing the pot to a total worth of 8,625,000 euros. But when the river was finally revealed to be a 9, the odds completely shifted into Malec's favor, and Malec won the giant pot. This play against de Rooij, while the riskiest in the entire match, paid off massively for Malec, who was willing to take a chance. Malec's joy at winning the pot was quite evident as well. He doesn't seem to be someone who's afraid to show emotions during the rounds. Adam Owen, the British poker star, would then get knocked out by Yuri, who would bait Owen into going all in and matching his calls, which ended up building the biggest pot of the game with a value of 27 million 275,000 euros. Reichenstein would go all in, making Owen panic and try to call the stupendous 9,375,000 euro bet Yuri made. But the odds were already completely in Yuri's favor, as his pocket kings made a three-of-a-kind suit with the king sitting on the table. Of course, when the cards are finally revealed, Reichenstein wins by a large margin, taking home the win. The Dutchman Ruij would finally find himself staring down the barrel of the gun, being short-stacked with only 3 big blinds remaining to his name and an ace-7 in hand. He would go all in, hoping for the best. Malec would call, but then Reichenstein would go for a crazy 3-bet and raise to 3.3 million euros. At this moment, it became evidently clear that Reichenstein was not trying to get Ruij out of the competition, but Malec. In no world would Reichenstein have to go for such overkill to get rid of Ruij, who is already all in. Malec would smell this bait and fold immediately, leaving Reichenstein with a win-win situation. The flop would only better Reichenstein's chances of winning by allowing him to pair his threes, and the turn and river were not favorable to Ruij either, effectively knocking him out of the round. Owen would then go all in, betting his remaining 5 million, and in a surprising move, Malec would match his bet. Owen would be holding a queen-jack and Malec an ace-8, and with the flop drawing a 7, it would shift in Malec's favor, and even more so with the turn, which would give Malec an 8 and the final river giving him a 6, which allowed him to build 2 pairs and an ace, a suit miles ahead of Owen's, thus winning Malec the pot and eliminating Owen. And now we have our final heads-up, the cold, calculating German Uri Reichenstein versus the affable Pole Sebastian Malec. What happens when an unstoppable force like Malec meets an immovable object like Reichenstein? Well, that's exactly what we are about to find out. Reichenstein would initially take the chip lead and start betting high, launching the round with a 1.4 million euro bet. Reichenstein seemed quite confident with Queen-6 set, but what he did not realize that Malec had pocket 4s. The flop would draw an ace, 3, and 4, making the odds completely in his favor. Reichenstein would nonetheless raise another 3.3 million, but the river would once again cheat Reichenstein out of a win and give another 4, giving Malec 4 of a kind. Malec eventually realizes he has the upper hand and goes all in, and when Uri finally folds, Malec wins by a landslide. But the round was far from over. The two would go back and forth, with Reichenstein taking the chip lead once more because Malec got a bit ahead of himself and went all in despite having a weak set, losing nearly everything. But Malec's arrogance pays off in the subsequent round, where he goes all in once more but this time wins twice the amount back. The final round would see Malec with 27 million and Reichenstein with 26 million. Malec holding an ace-3 and Reichenstein holding a 10-9. The flop would bring a jack, 6, and queen, giving Malec a flush, and the subsequent turn would bring an 8, giving Reichenstein a straight. The final river would bring another 8, giving both Malec and Reichenstein a pair, but this gave Malec enough confidence to pull off the riskiest move ever and go all in. This move was the riskiest, but it also made Uri very confused as to Malec's hand. Malec would walk to the crowd, engage with them, and even take a selfie while Reichenstein decided on what his next move would be. And after deliberate consideration, Reichenstein would decide to go all in as well, which would be the end of the match with Malec winning with his flush and taking home the title of champion along with 1,122,800 euros. If Malec's plays blew your mind, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to see more legendary moments on the world stage of poker. Now let us know in the comments, which hand in Sebastian Malec's win did you enjoy the most? Or more controversially, who do you think could have beaten Malec in this tournament?